أهلا وسهلا.
أهلا فيك.
أركيتكت جمة، إيش أخباركم؟
وأنت؟
الله يخليكم، أنا الحمد لله تمام ومتحمس. I'm very much excited to know more about this beautiful building اللي هي بضواحي اسطنبول. So first of all, Architect Jemma would like to share. I would like to okay, just to tell them today is going to be by English, it's not by Arabic. We're going to speak a little bit by Arabic بس هلا mainly بالإنجليش. I would love to إنك تعرفي yourself to المتابعين please.
So I'm architect Jemma Chidiac. I have been a practicing architect in Lebanon, Beirut for the past 15 years. So I have my own practice. And I'm a faculty member at the Lebanese American University. I'm a design instructor. So I give design the second year students, and which is also known as LAU, for those who know LAU as Lebanese American University. So I've been faculty member for the past 3 years.
Excellent, excellent. طيب, Architect Jemma, طبعا أنا I'm very much happy and proud, and I would love you إنه you share with us إنه بهالفيلد وبهالدومين اللي انت هلا you are in باليونيفرسيتي خرجتي عن طريقك, let's put it this way, and you were the technical reviewer for this mosque in بإحدى ضواحي اسطنبول. So this mosque in بضواحي اسطنبول, could you tell us the name, the architect, brief about it?
Of course. So it is Sancaklar Mosque, and it is built on the suburbs. It's a small suburb area around Istanbul, so just on the outskirts of Istanbul. And the interesting part of it, it was actually commissioned to Emre Arolat by the Sancaklar Foundation, which is really a foundation for the Sancaklar family. It had several plots, and one of these plots was given towards Emre Arolat, which was the commission to him as the first mosque he would ever design. So it was the first mosque he would ever design. So it was kind of a challenge that they gave him the plot and asked for a mosque, not completing the FAR and looking into a proposal which was far beyond different from the cultural engagements and the classical Ottoman look that they were perceiving, or classical Ottoman architecture of mosque that they were having.
Excellent, excellent. طب tell me, أنا دحين I'm gonna share the pictures of the exterior and the interior, and اللي أعجبت بيه a lot إنه this architect he respect the surrounding of the area. يعني he relate the exterior and the interior with the materials around that mosque, and it's and this mosque, as you mentioned, it's بإحدى ضواحي اسطنبول, which is, I believe, it's like a village, like a countryside.
More of a countryside, and the landscape that, or the plot that was given was currently in the landscape which was rural, and there was no communities around it whatsoever. Later on, after they built the mosque, unfortunately, some gated communities came and plotted within the area, which really didn't have an impact, but there was no fusion between these gated communities and the mosque. But this was really relevant to the mosque because the fusion that it had and the integrity that it had with respect to the landscape and the mosque architecture was far beyond.
حلو. طيب, I believe that this mosque حصل على عدة جوائز. Is that right?
Yeah, صحيح. It did. So in 2013, it was awarded the first prize for World Architecture Festival. In 2015, it was shortlisted for the Design of the Year for London Design Museum. And it was also shortlisted as Miss Van der Rohe Award. And it recently actually was awarded the Aga Khan Award, which he was very proud to show me his trophy in his office when I visited him in Turkey in June.
Hello, interesting, interesting. Okay, now if you don't mind, I would love to start to show the exterior and the interior للمتابعين, which is I have it here in my desktop. So I'm going to flip the camera and we're going to start seeing, and would like to hear from you what we are seeing as a beautiful structure. Okay, now I'm going to No. Okay. So this first picture هنا, we're seeing the exterior of the mosque, is right? Okay. So, and this is the,
Minaret.
okay, and this is like a fence.
So the wall was really a boundary between the public that starts off if you want, the promenade or the architectural promenade starts at that point. So the
I
part
see.
right in front of it, as you can see, people, visitors, and worshippers would park. And then this would be one of the entrances from the several other entrances that there are. There are two other entrances to the mosque otherwise, but this is the main entrance where vehicular access stops, and then it's only pedestrian access that transcends towards the mosque.
Fine. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the second slide. Okay. Which is, this is regarding the plans, the drawings. We're going to go into that detail. So this is the general, this is the site plan. Let's put it this way. Is that right?
True.
Okay. So what we see here is number 16 is the parking, the one you mentioned to us.
That is true.
Yeah. And this is the Manara.
Yes.
المنارات اللي موجودة, and if I'm not mistaken this is the ceiling of the interior تبع المosque, is that right?
Very true. So I say that the wall that we've seen is right on the boundary between the parking and the start of the promenade, which you see in stratified gray. So that's the tiling that takes you, that's the starting point that takes you towards the mosque.
All right, great. So this
highlight, sorry about this. I must also highlight that the minaret was not the main, as the first thing they designed for the mosque. So the mosque was designed for minaret, first of all, but the Sancaklar family wanted to really define the visual connection with respect to the neighborhood with a minaret to create a visual landmark where people can know that they're passing a mosque, and therefore visitors would stop and actually enter.
I see. And this picture we could see the minarets is right up here, بعدين I could see some dropping steps going down. Is that right? Right up here?
Very true. This is the transcendence towards the, so this is what I was highlighting as the architectural promenade, where it's the area, the plot that was given is like slightly sloped. So the architect tended to bring the user, the believer or the worshipper, towards the mosque by bringing them towards it. So the emotional experience of coming down to humbleness is quite the main theme here.
Great, excellent, excellent. Okay, I'm gonna go to the second slide. This right up here طبعا field plan and section. If I'm not mistaken, this is the interior plan of the mosque. Is that right?
The interior plan of the prayer hall.
Prayer hall, yes. And this is, we consider it the mihrab.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, yes. And هنا في الsteps اللي دحين we're gonna see it بالpicture. طيب, is there anything you want to tell us about يعني if you don't mind مثلا, this is, if I'm not mistaken, the wudu area, is that right?
And after the ablution area, which is more to the southern side, to the right-hand side, yeah, that's the imam residence, which has its own private residence there. But I must highlight in this two things, and I think in the plan it's quite highlighted. First, the wall is not a straight wall, which we're used to seeing. So it's kind of multiplied and then it's curved off, or as I might say, it breaks. And the idea here is to create one element of the wall where the elements that you're designed for, which is the minbar and the mihrab, become part of the wall rather than elements that are highlighted. The highlighting element is the wall, and it creates direction for the worshippers there. The second thing that I would like to highlight as well is the scale of this prayer room that has no columns whatsoever. And yeah, by 10 meter width prayer hall with no columns, and an apex at 3 meters. And that is due, we will see later on, that is due to the dome, interior dome that he had created in reinforced concrete that allowed the structure to happen.
Which is this one in the section we can see the dome. Is that right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
perfect.
So perfect. Type the top of this dome, is it like a landscape people could walk on top of that?
Very true. So as you enter the mosque at the upper level, you see a mosque, you will see a minaret along with this landscape. So the main idea, one of the main principles, was to extend the field of vision with respect to the prairie landscape around it. So as you look to the prairie landscape, it's kind of continuous and there's no architectural building. And in that sense, I must say that the man-made material and the nature come to blend together to a point that you do not have a contradiction, but they actually morph within each other.
I see. Okay, we're going to move to the, sorry, go ahead, tell me.
Complete fusion between what is man-made and between the landscape. And that is one of the main principles of the design.
Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to go to, this is the picture that we saw with the steps going down. And then this is another corner for the mosque, if I'm not mistaken. And this steps take me all the way down, and to this direction take me to
the lower courtyard. So as you can see, the wall that is on the left-hand side, this is the start of the, yes, along, so it actually works in a more orthodox manner, and it is planned in a more orthodox and linear manner, while on the opposite, you start to see this cave-like structure, which is organic. This is the start of the mosque or the prayer hall where you enter. So it divides it splits up between two areas. On the right-hand side, which is embedded within the landscape, is the mosque, and towards the left-hand side is the library, which is extended for the expanded role of the mosque, which is really for the community.
Great. And the library, you mean, which is plan, is this one?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the prayer hall and this is the library area.
Exactly, exactly. So the orthodox linear transition is the way it is designed is slightly contradictory. So the library is very orthodox and the other one is more organic. Now I must highlight here that this courtyard would not have happened if the library did not exist. And the library was a secondary phase of design that was asked for first stage. And if that library was not there, architecturally, this courtyard would not have resulted in a courtyard or an outdoor space where social cohesion really happened there. And I could really say from my own experience when I went to the Friday prayers that a lot of people extend within this courtyard and it really works very well. And the human experience is far beyond. And that is due to the library not only settling there, creating a borderline, but also naturally it creates a borderline for the northern winds that come towards it. So it really protected them, not only visually and architecturally, but also from the natural aspects that the user would encounter.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go. This is another 3 pictures of the exterior. I would like to ask you here, the architect is using this gray material. Is it local material?
Yes, it is. It is quite local material. So this is natural stone that is found in the, and another indigenous, what I call the indigenous material, is the concrete. So it really was concrete for the slabs, yet reinforced concrete. A very material that used. There's no really cladding that actually happened. The stone was used to really form the structure, whether in the walls that are stratified to go towards towards transition you towards the lower courtyard, or through the landscape. And whenever concrete needed to be used for structural posed on or imposed on the stones, they were really indigenous from the exterior towards the interior as well.
Nice. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. طيب. هنا this is another for the exterior picture. Is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the prayer area. Is it right up here, or this is the library?
This is the prayer area on the left-hand side. So at the minute you're pointing to the ablution area, but this is part of the prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true.
Okay. And this one is the
area.
Okay. Tamam. So this is the main entrance of the mosque.
This is the main entrance, which later on they added a female entrance that was on the further side to it. But
Okay.
The main entrance, and the other one, the below image of the wood.
Yeah.
This is really to buffer off the library inner side towards the outside. So it's like a buffering transparent material that diffuses the light towards the library.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so دحين صار عندنا like the natural local material and then the wood, and we have the concrete right up here.
Very true.
Okay. So, and then this is the wudu area. Interesting. And they're using the same material, but I could see, if I'm not mistaken, this is wood. Is that right?
Yes, this is wood, and the same material was used. All the stone material was used. So he was very true to the material, and the same monolithic language was used throughout the project. So no additives or no aesthetics was added to it to kind of enhance, but rather the materials used in a proper manner and in a genius manner, really, had really the essence of architecture and interpreted these spaces and revealed these spaces. Now, I might say that the ablution has a small lighting spots on the roof, which they bring in light, and they are really the roof landscape that you don't see them. All you see is small pods of glass or skylights that are on the roof, which are really
Now, so you mean this is a skylight as well, is that right? Okay, great. So now, as an interior designer, I'm so happy with this picture, Architect Jemma. I would love to hear from you this prayer space, what we see at the picture.
Yes, this is the prayer space. So the idea of the prayer space really came from the story of the Prophet Muhammad, where he was in Mount Hira near Mecca, and they inspired by this story when he had his first vision there, and the transcendence that continued from the architectural promenade downwards to the Qibla wall was very important. So the aspect of humbling down or transcending or coming down towards the main Qibla wall was very important to create this monumental experience at the bottom. So it's really the monumentality was really revealed through the slit, through the Qibla wall, where the wall no longer represents elements with the mimbar and the mihrab, but rather it creates the element which is wall that confines or brings all these together, bring all these elements together. So that was the main strategy. And the only other item, which is, I would say, a calligraphy that was highlighted, is the wow on the other side, which is very acclaimed. Graphic designer had done that. That's right. And the reflective material was very interesting because it really reflects all the worshippers and the prayer that's happening and the light of the interior. But furthermore, say that this canopy or this extreme or large space, which is 50 by 10 that I had talked about before, with an apex of 3, this is where it happens, that the dome becomes an eclipse that is straight upwards.
Okay, okay. So right up here we have, let's say this is the ceiling, which is more or less is the dome. Is that right?
True.
And this is the mihrab where the imam will stand, and this is the member Yom Friday. He will do the khutbah right up here.
Very true.
And this light is coming from the skylight, which is, if is that clear maybe for everyone to see? And no, this is the skylight, the one you were mentioning to us, and the light's coming down.
Yes, that is it. So it's basically the roof continues, and then we have the skylight, where the skylight actually drops a flood of light that bleeds into the landscape, to the interior, and this really amazing light happens on the interior and really enhances the monumental and spiritual experience on the inside. I must say that I was very, very fond of this interior.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, this is another picture for the section just to show a more clear detail. And now this is again the interior, and when they pray inside the mosque, is the flooring, is it tile or carpet?
Carpet all the way through. A carpet all the way through, and yeah, I think it was like a light gray material, but it was carpet all the way through. But I must say, I'm not sure if it actually reveals here, but this is maybe one of the really rare mosques where the female prayer hall is right at the same level and not at the back of the male prayer hall.
I see. Okay, so maybe if I'm not mistaken, is it this part? Is it right up here? This is what you no? Okay.
Yes, I think you might.
And this is in this picture we could see it, because if I'm not mistaken, this is for the shoe track.
So it's actually where the picture was taken. So it's on the other end.
I see. Where the picture we're taking is the place for the
female believers. Where
I
they,
see.
I think maybe in the different image.
But excellent. May I ask you regarding, this is a door? I can see two opening right up here.
That is the main door, one of the main doors towards, I think the ablution. No, it's not. Yeah, one of the doors towards the prayer hall. So the prayer hall had 7 towards it. Yes, didn't have one.
And right up here in this picture, I could see like a small tiny balcony, which is, we can see it here more clear. This is where the imam he stand and he give al khutbah.
Yes, that's true.
Very nice, very nice. May I ask again, what was this material?
It was like a black glass, like a back painted black glass that reflects all the interior.
Excellent, excellent. Very nice, very nice. This is the prayer area, and this right up here is where the Qibla is. Is that right?
Yes, this is the Qibla wall, and if you go right towards the interior, the Imam's residence continues with the Qibla wall.
Which is this one?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And tell me, these steps, is it sort of, okay, and I believe that they pray in this level, they have flooring. What about these steps? Is it for like seating, or they could pray there as well?
It's wide enough for worshippers to pray there, which is really, and it works very well. So this is something that is not really seen in most mosques, but here it works very well, and people are quite fond of it. They quite like it.
Nice. So which is as well as reflecting the landscape of the exterior, if I'm not mistaken, even the ceiling details. Is that right?
The scale of the human being or the worshipper believer that was inside, the scale differs, and when the scale differs, the experience differs. So as you bring down and the height increases, the more monumental experience, or the more heightened experience you get.
I see. I see. Okay. And now this is another angle. If I'm not mistaken, this is the area where you told us the ladies where they pray. Is that right?
Exactly. So it's one of the rare mosques, or I might say the few mosques, where the female area prayer hall is at the same level or side by side to the men. So it is actually at an upper level. It is raised up by, if I'm not mistaken, 60 centimeters or to 1 meter. At the upper level, and the fusion or the barrier, visual barrier between them is perforated steel.
I see. I see. Which is nice. Had the picture is showing us as well where a gentleman is standing, prayer time, and this is the straight level, the one you told us, and this is the steps all the way up. Okay. This is another picture for the interior. This one showing us more detail of the light. Is that right? The one you were mentioning it to us.
Very true. And I must say that project manager Leila Kori, who was part of this project, she actually stated they were actually amazed once the framework had came out, that they had brought the framework out. They didn't expect this fusion of light to be that spectacular.
طب يعني this pictures during the day, and this is daylight. Is that right? Maybe we could see some uplight from this side as the other picture were showing us. This picture's in the evening. So is the lighting was giving the same feel when you go inside this prayer area during the day?
Yes, very. So the artificial lighting really, if I might say, they really complemented the natural lighting that was inside. First, it enhances the architectural direction that is stated by the walls that were starting to take you down. So the set of walls that were there, which are the stone walls that you might see from the beginning of your visit towards the end of your or the entrance to the prayer hall, really went with the direction of the wall, and the directionality here was very important with respect to the architect. So he really enhanced that during the night with a linear wall flush lighting along the area and towards the interior, where he highlights again the eclipse upwards. So all of the lighting was kind of indirect lighting, or emphasizing a direct or certain area that he wanted to enhance. So the architecture and the improvisation to what he wanted to for the user to experience, and the linearity of it was one of the main ideas of the lighting.
Very nice, very nice. And this is another picture. If I'm not mistaken, this is the library area?
Yes, that is the library area. So the first part is a shelter space where you see a lot of people come and actually chit chat during before or after prayer on a Friday prayer, and people that would sit there, and some of them actually after or before prayer, they actually lie on the bench inside, and they get a really nice swift of northern winds and they contemplate. So it's actually a really serene atmosphere in there. And then from the glass that is pointed out at the second wall behind it, this is where, yes, the library starts.
I see. I see. And this is the courtyard, the one you told us about at the beginning, in between the library and the prayer, the mosque itself, or the prayer area. Great. And this is another close-up picture, if I'm not mistaken, for the library. Is that right?
Yes, this is the back of the library, which the view extends towards another courtyard or a seating area. So as you can see, even the seating places continued with the same language. So he used the same all the way through to accentuate the idea that was given, or he wanted to perform there.
I see. I see. And this is the part of the roof, the one you were telling us, it's part of the landscape. Is that right?
6-meter canopy that extends from the end wall of the mosque. And the
Uh-huh.
interesting part of that, it creates shelter for those worshippers that do not have a place Friday prayer or did not get in first. So when it's completely flooded with people inside and there's no further place inside. What's interesting is these walls become these parallel lines towards where people can direct themselves, and the worshippers extend towards the exterior. So you might see on a Friday prayer that worshippers are actually worshiping towards these walls. They use them as directions,
Mm-hmm.
and they extend towards the outside. So they kind of, even the flow of people praying extends towards the courtyard, which is amazing.
Very nice, very nice. And this is another picture for the interior. We could see the concrete ceiling. Is that right?
It's true. This
Yeah,
is true.
and this is an uplight.
Yeah.
And this is the steps that take me out from the courtyard, the one you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
We go all the way up, and the mosque is right, the prayer area, which is this direction.
Okay. Here, there's a certain water feature that cuts the prayer hall. Yes, that is there. Unfortunately, just that item, they have a small leakage problem at the minute, and they're looking at continuing it with the landscape.
I see.
The cost has raised up so much for maintaining that, and they can't find the leakage problem. But I mean, it was a nice reflective feature within the mosque atmosphere. But unfortunately, it does not exist anymore.
I see. I see. I see. Okay. MashaAllah, architect Jemma, يعني MashaAllah, I love the way you explained it to us. Me as an interior designer, I'm honored to hear this information from you. Such a person like you بالجامعة الأمريكية in Beirut. It's amazing. But هلا, I would like to ask you questions. Architect Jemma, as I understand, بالجامعة الأمريكية, you went all the way to Istanbul as a technical reviewer for this mosque. Can you tell us what this added to you when
Yes,
you went and you did this?
yes. I went last June, and what it added for me, I think I saw all these images online, and what is interesting that architectural media really promotes these kind of projects, but you don't really realize how much of an importance this photo. Sometimes you think it is adjusted or maybe photoshopped or really recreated or added some effects to it.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting is to find myself on a plot really in a prairie landscape and myself transcending towards this monumental structure, which is not really monumental, very humbling. And then really when you get to the inside, you actually experience the spirituality at its ultimate, disregarding religion and disregarding whatever it is. It was so spiritual that you cannot but meditate in this space. So it was kind of, and the images that were there that were posted online, it
Mm-hmm.
became real to me, really real, to a point that I was kind of surreal that you can find an image online that was really replicated there. So this is where I kind of really understand and see how the community responded to it and see how much they loved it. And really see as well that this courtyard on a Friday prayer started really early and people really engaged and they loved the social cohesion that was there. And they had this cave-like structure became a small play area for the kids where they actually grabbed on and started climbing. They really adjusted, so they really experienced the architecture. And this is where I go back to kind of Rasmussen, of that experiencing architecture where the child might pass the stone and text the texture. But and as well,
Nice.
a lot of
Mm-hmm.
marble was happening after Friday prayer. So a lot of ladies with eggs and stuff like that would actually sit in the courtyard space, awaiting the worshippers to leave. And as they leave, this social cohesion that happened in this prayer hall, which was really just for the worshippers, transcended or transformed to become a marketplace where people actually took on a few things as they went. And it's amazing to see the kind of experience that these worshippers were, and that they are they love the place, they love coming beforehand, they love coming afterhand. So disregarding the fact that it doesn't reflect a classical, or it doesn't abide by a cultural engagement that they are used to, or to the Ottoman classical architecture of mosque architecture that they're used to. It no longer they're no longer clinged on that or attached to that, but rather the users are much more fond of what they get out of it, the experience that was there, the emotional experience, disregarding what the architectural formwork is. I mean, for me as an architect, it was a magnificent experience, but more thoroughly, I must say that to see the users ultimately using every single space, whether it was kids, whether it was female, whether it was male, whatever year, whatever age, loving this space to the ultimate, and every single corner of it was really the best thing I've ever seen. You know, having this little pods of interaction happening. So quite the community engaging with the mosque, and when a person sees a lot of it happening, a lot of people enjoying it, you end up realizing that the building is an ultimate magnificent piece of work.
So tell me, as we understand that this mosque is in the countryside outside Istanbul, so the neighborhood, they are, let's consider them as a villager. Are they? It's not a city, it's a village, right?
More of gated communities. So they started up having a lot of compounds around.
I see.
There's a lot of compounds that started, but really it wasn't built for them. But what I would say is more the passerbys, because it is on the main road to access other villages. So a lot of people know the mosque and come from like vast areas and very far areas to get to it, which is interesting that the landmark of the minaret just allows them to stop at that node, because it's an intersection of 4 main roads and they take you to different areas. So that's the interesting part of it.
Hello, which is يعني this is يعني we consider it something strong, and the neighborhood who live in around that mosque, the people who's driving beside this mosque, إنه لما they go to that space, they are happy with it. They didn't see it as building, let's put it this way, shocking them. It's soft. It's with the landscape اللي موجود في المكان.
True. It's interpretation really of the fundamentals of mosque architecture, to reinterpret and to really think again about the relationship between architecture and religious spaces.
Hello. Architect Jemma, thank you so much. I'm lucky to hear this lovely and amazing and educational information. It really added to me lots of things. أنا كثير مسرور بهالمعلومات, especially إنه أنا interior designer. Thank you again, and
it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
بالعكس, شكرا لكم, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.